welcome back. Thank you for joining me. We've got Jonathan and Tim live and direct. Plenty going on, and I'm slowly but surely fighting back and building back. I'm taking my rocket launcher back, Jonathan. I presume that's all right. You've established your front line there against Mozambique, have you?
Yeah, pretty much. He's done quite a lot of work chipping away at those boats and a few of the troops that were sat on the near the river. So it's been a great help.
Earn his money. Yeah, it took a long time to chip away at the Ad Damazin troops, even with your three rocket launchers that you bought in. So you must have had a fair old few units there, Madagascar.
He actually sent me a message just earlier. He said, "Do you want me to pull out of Arusha to avoid you wasting lots of troops?" So I thought that was quite funny.
So he's saving his skin, is he? Oh, right.
I think he's fronting a little bit.
Yeah.
That message tells me that he's expecting me to try and take Arusha, and perhaps he's got a lot of units there, or maybe he's bluffing and he doesn't at all. But either way, I'm not going to quite go there yet. I've got some land to take from the Chosen and Mozambique further north of that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tides are starting to turn, right?
I think
Things are looking
so.
up.
Yeah, yes, I'm feeling a bit more positive. And you're cracking into Cameroon.
Yeah. He kind of just fell apart. I was right, and he did send all his troops at me.
Cool.
Unless he's still got some hidden around somewhere, or he's just kind of like given up and left them floating. Yeah, I went from his rare material city straight to his electronics one, because that was where he was making his rocket launchers. They were quite dangerous. And then from there, I moved on to Yanud, and he was just starting to make some bombers there. They went down in a couple of hits from my launcher.
Cool.
And since then, I've just been kind of chased down by a couple of rogue troops, but I've given the runarounds, killed them, and by tonight, I'm going to take most of his cities. Just this last one that I'm shelling now will be left.
And have you noticed you've got a level 5 naval base almost intact?
I know. I was thinking before, it's very kind of him to build that for me.
That can take an awful long time, and considering, well, you'd have to annex it to make use of it, which is very expensive in itself. But I mean, time-wise, to build a level 5, it's a long time. Time to do that. So you might want to think about that one. Have you got a plan?
That would be a bit of a sketchy location to annex, because you can kind of see what's coming from the west. Did you talk about this on the last episode? I can't remember.
No. Oh God,
No.
Yeah. Okay, so Argentina have invaded Africa. I forgot about that.
And Brazil.
Where are Brazil?
It's hard to see because you've got Nigeria here and the remnants of Ghana. They're all green.
Yeah.
But I've actually found this on every game that I've played. Anyone from South America, they tend to invade at New Conakry, and then push into Africa through there. So the kind of Guinea area is very dangerous to be at. But made some good progress to the west, so we'll see what happens. There's still a bit of time. Argentina are actually pushing up to my border now, but I'd expect they'd want to take Morocco before they start invading me, if they're looking to do that. But either way, I'm not about to start preparing for an invasion yet.
Yeah, okay. So, right, well, have a think about what you want me to do then, because I'm building my stack in southern Europe and just chipping away at Poland, who's gone a bit rogue and a bit mad. I've been chipping away at this stack. It's got 5 troops and 1 main battle tank. Been chipping it away at them for literally 24 hours. They popped up just after I finished yesterday's episode, and just with 1 rocket launcher been papping away. You did your strikes in a couple of times, I think, and Yeah, still 5 troops left. I think it started off with 9 troops, 1 battle tank. So 1 rocket launcher is a bit rubbish. So I'm just bringing in another rocket launcher to get that going a bit more. And then motorised infantry to do a bit more land grabbing. And then I was just going to, land grab back up to Novi Sad and hold there. But it's not urgent. I can bring my whole stack down if you think that's wise, and start thinking about a defence. And I'll tell you what I'm building into the stack. I'm getting there now. I'm starting to produce 2 land units and 2 sea units.
Very nice.
It's taken me a while because my morale is so low. So for a frigate in Adana, it's taking me 1 day, 6 hours. And then I'm building up a naval base level 2 in Izmir. And I've queued up a frigate, and that's going to start in 8 hours. So I'm getting a bit short on components now, but it's building. Components are building. I'm on 193 an hour, nearly 5,000 a day. So I should be able to pop out 2 boats a day, and just pumping out mobile SAMs at the moment. In this, in my bubble complex, I can do a mobile SAM in 12 hours. And then up here in Samsung, I'm doing a mobile SAM in 16 hours. So I've got a good recruiting office down in the bubble city, speeding things up. And just building up arms industries, just getting the infrastructure back, really. You can see everything I'm building there. Hospital in Zankandi, which is a component city way in the south that's occupied. Arms industry level 3 on the capital for the rares. So I'm not quite researching as much as I'd like. Then arms industry 3, a couple of those on electronics and components, and then it just goes on. You can see with the units I'm building there as well. So I'm kind of getting there. Built 3 theatre defence already, 2 in the home cities. So the one on the left of my land can cover the 3 cities there. The one on the right covers the capital, then the 2, 1 up, 1 down, and then the bubble complex. I thought I don't really need a theatre defence because the buildings are saved by the bubble anyway, and there's no troops on there. And then sent a theatre defence over to my big stack, and on my big stack I've got theatre defence, 2 mobile anti-air, but I want to get more of the mobile SAMs, rocket launcher, soon to be 2, and then a tank destroyer, 3 Sheridan armoured fighting vehicles, Sheridan tanks, and there's a Sheridan tank up there just taking that land that will rejoin the stack. But what I'm going to do is break that stack up and have more support units. So I'll have mainly 1 stack of tanks and then 1 stack of support. So I can bring my main offensive stack down, Jonathan, to support you against Brazil and Argentina, but we've got to be very, very wary of boats. I presume they're sending a big old flotilla of boats towards us as we speak.
There have been some talks with Brazil and Argentina about taking down Norway, haven't there? I'm kind of really hoping they're true, because for the next week or so, I'm going to be occupied with taking Mozambique and Madagascar, and really can't afford to go into a fight. And especially Brazil, is way ahead of me, twice as many cities. So I need to lock off Cameroon and take all of the land south of it just to catch up first before I even start thinking about going to war. But thinking about where we would position defensive stacks, ideally I'd want to take Niger to connect these 2 valleys around the dead zones. And they could be potential places where you could sit launchers to effectively hold off troops. Especially the valley in the middle, which I've called Death Valley. That would be a very strong place to control the flow from South and West Africa, and to kind of jump back to the victory site and my capital, which I've moved to Kaga. And then
where
we're currently fighting now.
Capital?
I've moved it to my component city, Kaga,
for
the sole reason that it's not next to water. my navy's been so weak.
Oh yeah,
That I've just had to have a boat sitting in front of Cairo the whole time. But now, like, I'll get a bit more warning. So if anybody does try to go for my capital, they'll most likely go through Asyut, and that'll be slightly easier to defend because more of my focus is on the south anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Could do with some radar. I'm trying to research radar at the minute just to give us a bit of a heads up on incoming. But yeah, if my main boat stack hadn't been nuked by the gold player Norway, I'd have probably 2 really nice stacks of boats by now. It's a real shame I came across him. Real shame. But it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Tim, you're
2 army base.
Sorry, say that again, John.
I'm going to build a level 2 army base to churn out some more radars, just to give us a bit more vision.
Brilliant. Well done. And I'll see what I can churn out. Tim's got 3 frigates, which is looking good. And what else have you been up to?
I've managed to end a couple of wars today. I finished off Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. I was taking a really big hit on my morale, so I'm glad that's sort of sorted now. Should slowly start to rise again.
Nice.
Not sure who to deal with next, really. I suppose Turkmenistan has got the least land. Kazakhstan's a little bit bitty. All over the place, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Turkmenistan's not got a lot going on, has he? And you've got your airborne troops to potentially help.
There's this one island in New Yugoslavia, which only you can get to right now, Tim.
Yeah, I just can't get. There's no airport near it.
Oh yeah, that's what we were saying, right?
Oh, I was wondering why you hadn't sent anyone. Okay, well,
I know you're like short of. It's just not really a priority for your resources right now, though. So, I figured. But then we do kind of want to end the war. So.
It'll make a big difference in future battles, just having an airport further to the front line. I don't know, like Nice might be good once Rogue State's cleared out, or maybe Sarajevo. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking at Sarajevo, and an airbase is 750, 1,000, 1,500. I'm just wondering if it's better to just do maybe an airstrip.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
An airfield is way cheaper. Yeah. What do you think? An airfield? Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is that going to be in the right place? Just south of Sarajevo in the mountains, I think.
Yeah, that's good. It's got a lot of reach. It's got reach into Italy from there, I think. Which Ireland is currently taking.
Cool. And then I'll make sure I've got... Oh, but I don't have any in Istanbul. Would that reach?
Yeah, it got destroyed. I think it would. Like the airlift distance is quite long, and the nearest one is
it does.
Crimea.
It does link.
Right. Okay. If not, it would like send them to land and then like redirect there, wouldn't it?
Okay. I'll queue up an airfield. I don't have the resource. Waiting for components starts in 2 hours. But it'll put other things behind, but that's fine. My components are growing, and I should get another buff when midnight comes over. Population 3 at Ardana, minus 40% of the local resource output. Oh, and I saw something today. I was just looking through buildings and what they do. And did you know that airfields and naval bases give you a resource buff by 5% for each level?
Really?
I had not noticed that. No.
Was that naval bases and what?
Air bases.
Oh, okay.
So your level 5 naval base may be worth keeping instead of just destroying for its stuff.
I'd never noticed that.
And then building a hospital and a bunker on it to give you more components.
It could be a strategic location. I don't like annexing any cities that are next to water. Like I'd already picked out the Bahir Dar complex ages ago, which is why I've been defending it.
You don't have to annex it. You can just bung a hospital and a bunker on it.
Right, and then that'll give me a ton more components. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, over time it'll give you a few more. And your city, Sanaa, it's definitely worthwhile putting a... Well, it might be worthwhile putting a hospital and a bunker on there. Because if you compare, you can compare it to the Medina complex, where I've had a hospital and a bunker on for a while. Once I've finished the level 2 arms industry there, it'll be on a similar output to your...
Sanaa? Where's that one again?
So Sanaa is Yemen, in the corner of Yemen, and it's the Tim's Cog City where he's got a level 5 arms industry. And then further up the road in the Medina complex, which is my bubble, it's a component city in, was it Saudi Arabia? You can compare them. So I've got basically a hospital and a bunker on the Medina complex. I've done it the other way around to Tim, and then I'm building arms industries. And just on level 2 arms industry, I match his output in his city where he's got a level 5 arms industry. Because I think your morale has stopped going up there. So there's some very interesting things you can do with buildings, and I think I've learned quite a lot from this game. So when we start the next game, if we do another one, I think I'd do a hospital and a bunker on every home city, because this series I've done a bunker on every home city, but I would do a hospital as well because it increases the population, and a higher population cap increases your resource output. And then I would think about putting a hospital. So hang on, let's look at these buildings. I think it's hospital that gives you... Yeah, so I would think about putting a hospital and army bases, air bases and naval bases on component cities and supply cities to give them the extra small buff that you get, instead of necessarily putting a hospital on the capital, although it does give you the rares buff. So yeah, I'm thinking about ways I'd do things slightly different to really capitalise on the resource buffs, because it's always supplies and components, isn't it, that ultimately you desperately want more of, because that's what all the units have. That's what they cost most.
Yeah, definitely. It just tends to be just components for me.
Is it?
And I'm in another game right now where I've just been building arms industries on all my component cities, and my hourly has barely gone up at all. So yeah. I feel like I'm hitting a ceiling, and I should definitely try building some more hospitals just to grow the population a bit.
The first thing I'd do is build bunkers on your arms industries and bunkers on your component cities, all of them. I'd build bunkers first, then hospitals. Then I think you do the arms industries,
right,
in that order. But you're obviously the other way around. But in future, because if you think about it, it's early on that you want the benefit of population growth and morale boost. That takes a long time in the game, doesn't it, to get your population up and your morale up?
But the question is, does morale affect population growth?
Morale affects resource output. So, right. For example, 65% morale gives you 65% of your potential resource output. So the higher your morale, the higher your resource output, until you get all the way up to 100%.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you've got more morale, does like the rate your population grow, does that increase too? It would make sense if it did.
It does, yeah, because if you hover over population for example, mine's 7.9 on the Medina complex, the bubble city. It says the city morale effect on population growth is minus 10%. So if you've got a higher morale, you will have a higher population growth as well. So it all kind of combines together. So having the combination of a bunker and a hospital, then doing your arms industries on component cities, that's the optimum strategy when you start early game.
I've literally never seen that screen before, hovering over population.
It's cool, isn't it?
I wondered what you were talking about. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
And then you don't learn much from the others, but that's quite a game changer when you have a look at that, because that's the screen I've been looking at to try and work out what I need to do to get my home cities back up to growth and better morale. And of course, if you ever annex a city, it's the morale you want higher to produce your units faster. But I think your home cities normally do enough of that for you.
Yeah, home cities are the most important by far, because they've usually got like 5 times, like even your second largest non-home city.
Yeah, really important home city. Just focus on them. But if you've got spare to throw to other places, then the tactical thing to do to make the most of your resources is, I would say, bunker first, then hospital,
then
definitely. Arms industries, or hospital or bunker, either way round. Probably doesn't matter a huge amount.
Yeah, usually you've got to get down that level 1 arms industry to build most troops, right? So like I usually always go for the level 1, but maybe I'll reconsider for the next game. It's a tough one.
Interesting new sort of way of looking at it, though, and I guess that's why they make it possible for you to still build stuff on cities you occupy without having to annex them. So it's just trying to squeeze out those advantages wherever you can, isn't it? Because if you do it early game and you get it right, then it pays tenfold down the line. So, well, I'm researching radar at the moment and then doing an engine upgrade for the rocket launchers. So level 3 rockets, level 3 theatre defence. And what I like about the theatre defence is that I've got 125 range now. So I can hit enemy aircraft at 125 range. I don't think people will quite understand what's happening there. I don't think that's something anyone might have come across, having a theatre defence out in the middle of a battle and thinking maybe they're hovering their planes far enough away for an attack in the night, but they're just getting papped. I quite like to just try that out.
I tell you what, if you want to try that out, bring one down to the Central African Republic, Eastern, whatever they were called, because Madagascar's got a lot of air superiority planes. If we can find a way to bait those out, then it'll be open season.
Okay. I mean, it would make sense for me to send my whole stack down to you if that's where the invasion with Brazil's going to happen. I mean, we've got a whole new set of problems as well, because Norway looks like they might become active again, because a lot of their cities they were sitting on have gone over the 34% threshold, like most of them. So he'll be sitting there thinking, okay, what next? And there is Poland there, and then there's Ireland, who have taken over Italy. They'll be wondering what to do next. They've been very, very slow moving, but I'd imagine they've taken each area very quickly with overwhelming force, expecting a bit more of a fight. So I think they'll potentially be coming for me next, in which case I won't stand a chance either way, the gold player. and Ireland, who's been pretty much untouched. We're in a tough fix here. I just need the more time I can have to build the army, the better.
Yeah. Well, they quite equally they might come through Algeria and Libya, and as soon as they find out there's absolutely no troops there, then I'm just going to lose all of that. So, and that could be Argentina or Ireland. I think you're most likely to get invaded by Norway because Poland's still kind of in between.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of want my big stack in Northern Europe to take them on, but equally it might be pointless because they may just buy their way, into just attacking me with crazy amounts of things again. And I think the only way to get to Norway and Ireland is through the sea to really hurt them. But then again, they may just bash you out of the sea with their spending on gold. So I think you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. But yeah, the longer I can just build and build and build, the better. And then we'll see who attacks and see what we can do and if we can survive. I guess there are several ways we can win the game. For me, it would be a win if we simply took out Norway. That on its own would be a win.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. If Norway just inexplicably left the game and ignored us, then I guess there's the real win of going after all the victory points. But we're up against a huge coalition now with Brazil, Argentina and New Zealand. And there's one slight chance Japan is near New Zealand. But I think they're going to sit pretty, although... Oh, that's interesting. So Japan have got half of the Philippines and New Zealand have got the other half. They've probably got some sort of peace deal. And they join up to Norway and Ireland, so we're kind of a bit stuck in the middle of these two big coalitions, one big on gold and the other big on just expansion and land, because they haven't really had to take on another decent coalition. So interesting times. Any last thoughts on the game so far?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if I'm going to fight Brazil, then I need to control the battlefield. And the only way I'm going to win is if I can bottleneck him into one of these valleys. So really what I need to do is hold the line at Algeria and force him to push up into Niger and Nigeria, and then look to just have a whole bunch of launchers down at Death Valley, or maybe at the valley to the west, and just see if I can pick off lines of troops. But hopefully we're as far away from that as possible.
I'm so tempted to just send everything I've got to you to help, and I probably will.
But I've still got to take out Mozambique and Madagascar, so there's you feel free to help with that. Just whatever is more important right now. But we can't even think about that other coalition yet.
Okay, well, we'll have a... So, well, I was going to say we'll have a chat offline, but let's have that chat now. What do you think we should do? Because me taking this land in Northern Europe's almost pointless, actually. I'm just doing it because it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly it'll help a little bit with my with my resources and stuff and the expansion, but I'm not really fighting anyone there. And Norway. If Norway's going to attack my home cities, they're going to attack them. There's not going to be a lot I can do. I've got a couple of theatre defence. I've got a big old stack that I could just sit on my home cities for the rest of the game, but I feel as though that's a little bit pointless.
Right.
So I think if Norway's going to attack my home cities and destroy them again, he's going to do it, and there's not a lot I can do to stop him.
Yeah, so you just need to be expanding as much as possible. I think if you want to help out with Mozambique and take some lands, then you got a couple of options. You could fly into Yanud, and then I'm gonna bring some launchers up to this kind of northern river and start shelling some cities, and maybe move some troops into Kinshasa, Boma, or maybe Kisangani. And at the same time, I'm going to be fighting off a few of his troops and Madagascar's troops in Ethiopia and the East African Federation. And then we'll gradually look to get over one of these rivers and just clear out his home cities in whatever order works best. So there's lots of land to take down there, and then after that, if Brazil hasn't already taken Nigeria, and Niger will start pushing west from there. So there's still lots of areas where on my front lines where we can expand. How about you, Tim? Where would you think would be the best place to push forward next?
You guys, in general.
No, on your side of the battlefield.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I'm very short of ground units at the moment. My push is going to be very slow for another few days until I've got enough like firepower to help it move along again. But my main thing is just like cleaning up wars, just ending wars. So I might push into Ouija next. I'll be coming up very close with New Zealand soon, and I'm not sure if I'm going to end up having to fight him. So I don't know really. Yeah.
So you're just continuing to build then, Tim?
Basically, I need to just prepare for like a bigger war against one of the two coalitions.
All right, John. I think I'll think about sending my whole stack down to you. Then it will probably achieve more, as Africa is now the new front line against that coalition. The Brazil and Argentina. Nice. I mean, they're active, aren't they? The whole Norway Ireland thing is just a bit tricky, really. Yeah, and if they decide to attack me, then they're going to, aren't they? So I think I may as well just put my chips in with you and help your front line.
Sounds great. Yeah, take some cities down here, especially the ones in like north of Mozambique's territory. I think they'd be very safe from any kind of invasion, even from Brazil, because I would bring the fight to him in Cameroon or Algeria. Well, equally, some of these cities which Madagascar's taken as well, he'd probably get to those last. So just wherever you want, just chip in, take whatever you can.
Yeah. I'll leave a rocket launcher up there to keep the Chosen and Poland at bay, and a tank and a troop, I think. And I'll make sure I land grab all the new Yugo stuff and build the airstrip for you, Tim, so you can still go along with all that. And I'll just send the majority of my main stack down to you, John, and build.
Just be so careful about flying stuff in. Just check up to see if there's any air bases before you fly anything in. I'm pretty sure the Bahir complex is completely safe, but just if you're redirecting troops, make sure they're going on foot.
Yeah, I don't really have any troops. It's all mainly tanks and support vehicles, so I can't really fly anything in. So I've just got to do the roulette of crossing, which I think I may as well just gamble and do to Marsa Matra. So it's one crossing, one landing, and then I'm in.
Right.
So hopefully I'll have a frigate. Still 13 hours before I get a frigate. So maybe you could give me a bit of an escort with your destroyer, maybe.
Yeah, where will you be departing? Antalya?
Either Yeah. I'll send everyone to Antalya, so I'll have to cross over from Istanbul, and that crossing's always been fairly safe. So yeah, it'll be from Antalya down to Marsa.
Okay, I've set my boat to patrol a few times. We'll be doing that for the next 14 hours.
Great. It's going to take me quite a while to get there.
Okay, putting a few more laps. Yeah, that should be great. Fingers crossed. We did think there were some subs around here, but hopefully there isn't.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be worth
gone.
just a bit of a longer journey and then just crossing over to Port Said.
Yeah, but then I've got to cross over twice.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
not ideal.
That's not just, and that means disembarking and embarking twice, and that takes about 10 hours altogether. But if I just disembark on Marsa, it's a oneer, isn't it? It's less, and it's away from where that sub was, where I lost the others. Either way, it's a risk.
Sounds good. Let's see how that one pans out then.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been a great episode. Any last thoughts?
From me.
Okay, well, in that case, we'll see you tomorrow and see if my troops have survived and if I'm going to be getting attacked by Norway and his gold yet. So, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Over and out.